All right, everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the Ignite Your Life show. I'm Elisa Planellas, and I'm here with.
Your co-host Guillermo Vidal, and the two of us are going to discuss today how every one of us has the power to handle everything that comes our way.
Oh my goodness, don't tell me that. But almost makes me paranoid, really. I don't
Why?
know why, but it does.
Oh, you don't know why? Well, as you and I were talking in preparation for this, with all the things that are happening in our world today, especially in our country that happened last week, it's so easy to feel totally powerless and to panic and to feel like, oh my God, all these things are happening and they're going to destroy my life. And then people get scared and they don't know what to do. And so this is a good time to remind ourselves that no matter what happens in our lives, even when we don't control those things that happen in a big way, we have the ability to handle them and figure out how to make them work for us.
You know what? I think I just figured out the paranoia part.
What do
And
you
I
think it
think,
is?
well, if you see yourself as powerless, then you don't have to do anything, you know? Um, you don't have that responsibility, you know? But if you find that you're powerful, then power comes responsibility. But then I recognize with what's going on, a lot of people are claiming that their actions are demonstrating, their power. And really, with power comes responsibility. I think that not everybody that fully recognizes that power is taking a moment to reflect on how they are using it responsibly. So feeling powerless, I guess, is a kind of way to hide, and
You
then
know, I,
letting
yeah,
that open.
makes good sense.
Yeah,
Actually, that feeling powerless, then, oh, gosh, it's not my fault, so I don't have to do anything about it.
yeah,
I certainly have been there before, haven't you? And I've been in that state about I'm powerful, I'm powerless, I'm a victim until I finally got tired of nothing changing,
yes.
for me, and then I took action. I think the other thing though that happens is we panic. So then we see as it's a fight, we go into the fight or flight syndrome, so immediately we start doing things like, oh, I better go buy a gun or I better hoard toilet paper or whatever. And that's all about, I got to protect myself and what's mine. And that's also fear based as well. So then, but it allows you to feel like you have some kind of control over things, even though it's not really a great thing to do.
I think what you're saying brings in the second part of that, because it's not just about having power. It's about that you have the power of everything available to you, every solution already available to you. And so if you think you have power without solution, I think that's where the panicking comes in.
Yeah, or that you feel you can't control something, like something really big, that you can't control it and you can't change it. And that's probably true, but can you change things that are right around you? Can you do things to handle what's around you better? I don't know who said this, but I've heard it say that everything that happens to us, when we look at it in the rearview mirror of life, all turn out to be blessings. And I
Mm,
find that to be true in my life. How about for you?
I do. It took me a while to learn that, but what I learned was things that you see as challenges are really the setup for the next thing, the next phase. It's like if you're going to build a house and you bring all the materials on site, and you might look like with the bulldozers, that is a big construction mess. But that's a setup. It's a stage for the mansion or whatever it is to come.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And what I see is that all the challenges that have happened in my life, that at the time they may have brought pain, and I was feeling
Exactly.
like, like for example, I got laid off from my job one time, and it took me months to find another one. And then during that time, I was in a lot of pain, wondering and worrying. and what have you, over, was I going to lose my house? I was going to put food on the table and all of those things. And then when I look back at them, and I realized that that was a lot of pain then, but when I look back at them now, I realized that it prepared me for the next step. It's like you said, that challenge is like it all of a sudden there's new material for you to build something else, something maybe even better. But if you don't see it that way, then that material just sits there on the ground and you never do anything with it.
It feels like overwhelm, and you have all that worry, right, that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when you think about it, like for me, I bet you it is for you too, but I want to hear what you say about it, which is it isn't the success or failure that shaped me. It was that I hung in there. And I hung in there and somehow I survived it and I overcame it and I made something better of my life with it. But it wasn't that at the end of the day I got the golden ring or I got what I wanted or I was looking for. It was that aspect of somehow by hanging in there, I was given enough wisdom to take step by step to get to a better place in my life, to become more who I am.
I think in that case, it's like when you have just that little tiny measure of faith, but then that little tiny measure of faith is enough to get you through because you looked at the challenge and yet you hung in there and you weren't sure of the outcome, but you had enough faith, life faith, to continue to move forward. So it became it didn't become a golden ring for you, but all of those little situations in your life became something that shaped your understanding to bring you into the maturity that you are in today.
Yeah, and and with that sense, faith as you called it, that sense, it came from within. There was just something in me that kept telling me, keep trying,
Yeah.
or try this, or you know what, just do this for today, or whatever it was, but it was all from within. And that's why I go back to that aspect of we all have that in us, that we're not helpless and we're not victims and we're not pawns in the chessboard of life. We really, each one of us was born with something within us with the meaning and purpose that the world needs, and that we are here to learn from these experiences to carry out that meaning and purpose that we were born with. But you know what? It's hard to see that when these huge events we feel are affecting our life and the world. And the fact is that that still doesn't change your role or your duty to discover who you truly are and what your purpose and meaning of life is.
Yeah. So it's your primary duty. It's to yourself, not just from a physical standpoint, but your primary duty is like to understand yourself, right?
Yeah. And, I remember I was 10 years old when my parents sent me to the United States because I was born in Cuba, and my parents sent my brothers and I over, and we were unaccompanied. So we came without them, and then we were turned over to something called Operation Peter Pan, where they were placing kids all over all over the country in orphanages. These are Cuban kids, and this was during the Castro Revolution. Well, anyway, the reason I bring up the story is because I was 10 and my brothers, who are twins, were 11 years old. And we were put in a situation where the administrator of this new place that we were in had two openings in New York and one in Oregon. And he was asking us to divide among ourselves who went where. Well, imagine we, the three of us, had never made a big decision in our lives ever.
Of course.
Adults always made it for us. And all of a sudden we're faced with this huge decision about, well, do I split up or do my brothers split up and one of them comes with me, kind of thing. And when this guy brought that up, for whatever reason, the three of us hung together and we said, we will not be divided. And he kept insisting, you need to choose. And we're saying, no, no, we will stay together. And the guy finally says, well, then I'll have to decide for you. Well, a week later, so happens that another opening happened for three kids in a Colorado orphanage, and that's where we ended up going. And all I can tell you is that here at 10 years old, I don't know what it was. There was this force within me and my brothers that said, stay together, stay together.
Right.
And we did. And so if a 10-year-old kid can have that kind of guidance from within, imagine what you or any adult can do and discover that's within them that they can accomplish. And so that inner guide is there for all of us.
A way was made for you all to do just that, to stay together. And
Yeah.
maybe if you had given up, you wouldn't have known that possibility. Just said, okay, whatever. But I think that insistent, that holding on there made that come available for you all to stay
Yeah.
together.
Well, that's a good analysis of it, because really we could have just easily said, oh, we're victims, we're at their mercy. One of us is going to Oregon and the other two are going to go to New York. But somehow we stuck with what we believed was meant for us, which was to stay together. And we were able to hang in there and do it. And somehow Providence provided us with the opportunity to stay together. Do you recall anything like that happened to you? Because I think everybody's life has an example of that.
Oh my goodness, I think I have lived that way. I have lived that way because I've had so many journeys in my life. You know, walking from Memphis, Tennessee to Oklahoma City with my son in a stroller. And every day of life is that way when you're walking, and food, place to sleep, water, everything that you need continue to be provided for you. Now, I don't know. I've practiced that
Were you were
too
you
many times in my life.
were you running from something? I mean, or were you feeling like you needed a new start somewhere else, or what
I had to
caused you to do?
find my. I knew I was not performing well where I was at, and I felt like staying where I was just going to stay in that underperforming position for myself. I mean, there was conflict, but I never took conflict like I was. I saw the conflict as like some shortage in me, right? And it's like I need to work this out. But this everyday life, I've been at this for decades, and it's not helping me work things out. Church is not helping me work things out. You know what I mean? Just sitting in my room, whatever, trying to do my best at this is not helping me get to the type of emotional place where I need to be at. And it's like, well, there has to be. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do, but there has to be something that I can have the better performance in my life. And so I spent many years on that pursuit. I really have. And in the process of that, I didn't have any choice on just provision. I mean, and just really to take it when I thought I should have something that I didn't, to really kind of be patient with that entire process.
Well,
You know.
imagine, wow, that's an incredible story. I think that it demonstrates for me that thing that we're saying is that you have everything within you to handle whatever comes your way. So it sounds like you finally got to the point, okay, I'm fed up with this. I'm tired of being depressed or feeling like I'm not accomplishing anything. And I think that's your inner guide. I think that's what your higher self uses to get your attention. But while you're panicked or feeling helpless or feeling victimized, you can't hear those messages. So you finally got to the point where you said, okay, that stuff is not working. I need to take control. I need to make some decisions about my life. I don't know exactly where this is going or where I'm going and what this is going to do for me, but I know I got to take some steps away from where I am today. And
Exactly.
and I think that's what I think that we're trying to talk about, that even if you're feeling helpless to everything that's going on, regardless of what it is, whether it's the coronavirus, whether it's the election, whatever it is, once you start letting go of the feeling powerless, then you can begin to then listen to yourself. What do I do now? And I think that every experience that we have, I'm sure you'll agree, every experience that we have has a lesson in there for us to learn, whether they're huge experiences or little. But it just sounds to me like you were really overcome with that restlessness coming from within that said, Elisa, you got to make some changes.
I have been a good, student in school and all of that. I love my family and all of that. And I guess they expected a lot of me and I expected a lot of myself and I didn't. It was just not living. It was not up to par. You know what I mean? And I was going, well, if I stay here, I might keep disappointing them, but I'll perpetually disappoint myself too in the process. And I don't see where me continue to stay here and disappoint them and disappoint me is ever going to turn into that, where get to the place where they approve where my hard work is enough, where I've excelled at it. So I
I,
just
I,
like that has to be
but
something.
you know what? I think it's the best example. I think everybody goes through that. And then think about you hung in there, you did this, you somehow got to a better place. But imagine people deal with incarceration, divorce, death of a loved one,
Yeah.
and we all somehow overcome it. I mean, the fact we're all still alive is a testament to our power that we've been able to survive whatever it is in our lives. And some people have to deal with sexual abuse from their parents or whatever, and they're horrible things. Yet somehow there are lessons in all of those things that help shape us, even when it is something horrible. That certainly it teaches you, I never want to do that, and certainly teaches you about toxic people and about staying away from toxic
Yeah.
people, teaches you to persevere, to still be able to find, as you did, that sense of, okay, how do I still contribute? How do I still, how do I continue to do something that makes me feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose? Which it sounds exactly like what it was you did. And then you did took these courageous steps.
I sure didn't see them as courageous at the time.
I,
I really didn't. I just, I don't know. I was like, I'm on this planet Earth and I'm sure just, I have to have a reason for being here. There has to be a reason, you know what I mean? So I just set out, kind of looking for me. You know what? It wasn't a fast thing. I mean, yeah, I counted miracles on the road to keep me alive. But even now, I still do, I've come a long way emotionally or inside of knowing me and understanding purpose and understanding faith and all of those things. But that's not a quick journey. No one should think that if you walk out the door that in 1 week, you're going to know each other, yourself, and know what your place is. No, it's not that simple.
I'm a testament to that. I'm 69 years old and I'm not sure that I figured it out. But I realize now that I'm on my way by looking at experiences not as something to be fearful for or something that damaged me, as much as those experiences taught me something that I could do that helped reveal more of who I am.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think it's a journey. I don't think that it's a destination. I think that you're doing it, but I think that we're both talking about how there's this inner drive within us all to lead us in that direction that you went and that I went. And that's, I think, the message we wanted to give today about you have everything you need to handle whatever situation comes your way.
Yeah.
And not only can you handle it, it will help you identify what the meaning and purpose is in your life. And both of us had like experiences that have taught us that along the way.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know. Yeah. And for me, I just can't. I just want to reiterate that there's so much difference between power, right, and the personal kind of knowing yourself power that we should all have. And so I could go out there when I see things in the media, like I've never been like some big activist or anything like that, because the first step before you can come to expression is you have to kind of know yourself and know what what you actually are about, who you are and what you believe in, and not just chase crowds. You have to know what's right in the first place, because anyone has, like, I have power. I had the power to walk out the door. You know what I mean? That doesn't give me the internal power that it takes to make the road right. That
Yeah.
you get on the way. Yeah.
But
That's what
but
you
I
get
but
in
I
the
think that
experience.
that's right. Is that at the end of the day, we have the power to make our lives what we want to make them. Now, you could say, well, how about the poor people during the Holocaust? How could they make their lives? Some of them survived by
Hmm.
finding the beauty in every day,
Yes.
and that somehow that got them through. And once, fortunately, that horrible ordeal was over, they were able to take that strength that they built and build better lives and lead others to build better lives. And I guess I truly believe, from my own life experience, that even hearing it in from yours, I really do have faith that we all have that power, that no matter what happens in life while we're on this earth, we have the ability and the power, as you say, to handle whatever comes our way, learn from it, and make our lives even better than they are.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Guillermo, it's been a fantastic episode. Um, so
I
very
agree.
much, yeah. So I think my last final word for today is that the power, if for someone that feels that they don't have that internal power, they have to know that, just like walking along road, taking it one step at a time. It's like um, it's like when you work out and you build your muscles. If you feel like you are powerless, start taking steps of power, and you will realize that internal, that power that's in you.
I, I I think that's really well said and a good place to end this show today.
Absolutely. So thank you, Guillermo. Until next week.
Thank you, Elisa. Till next week, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay. Bye.